exactly. Well, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate doing this. When
Thanks for having me.
we did start this, I was always at first I was looking around, being like, who do I bring on this thing? How am I going to get guests to come on? And then I follow your Instagram,
There you
and
go.
I see you being able to talk into a microphone pretty easily.
You follow the Instagram. I don't do anything on Instagram, but
What am I
it's
supposed to
still
follow then?
there, right? Yeah, nothing. I hate social media. I hate everything about. So yes, I have a social media presence, but it's because I have to. So, like, I think you sent me a note on Instagram
That's
or
what I
one
did.
of them, but it was like 2 weeks later that I responded it's because I don't go into my Instagram. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah.
No, I thought you were a dick. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I saw that and I went, well, if he's doing this, he's trying to get outreach and he's trying to do
Yeah,
something. Maybe
yeah,
he'll
yeah.
come on. Maybe I can clip this for him. And that's one thing that I do tell people if they come on here. I'll create 30 clips for you. And
I love it.
And
I'll
I'll
use
give
it.
them right back to you if you ever need them. If you don't like them, you just throw them away. But I'll still do it for you. But all right, so tell me exactly what I'm supposed to know about you then, Jimmy.
About me.
Yeah, start out.
Oh boy, there's plenty to know and plenty to hide, I'm sure. All right, what to know about Jim? Live in New York, married 2 kids, have my own business, executive coaching.
Go into that. What exactly? How do you get into executive coaching?
All right, how did I get into executive coaching? I had about a 20-year career in finance, executive communications, business strategy. I basically fell ass backwards into the financial industry because I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and it really didn't jazz me, corporate in general. And while I was in corporate and learning a lot through the financial crisis and everything else, I saw these coaches coming in that were just absolute garbage, selling snake oil, not making the impact that they were promising to make. And so I ended up going to a coach to say, look, I don't want to work in corporate anymore. I got to figure out a business to put together. I don't know. I was going to open up a wine shop. I was going to set up a community center, a travel business, and none of them really fit. And then I heard about executive coaching, and I was like, it just clicked. Where I'm like, I wasn't a fan of the coaching product that was out there. I knew it could be a lot better, and so I went and studied at Columbia, became a certified executive coach, and then for the past 12 years now, almost. I've had my own coaching business.
All right, so what exactly is an executive coach?
So executive coaching, my executive coaching, I've got a very strong philosophy on the way an executive coach should work. A lot of people use coaches in different types of ways. My clients are one segment, small business owner, say architect or retail or whatever, saying everything's been fine for the last like 10 years, but now I need to make a change because the world has changed. So I need like a new business plan. Help me kind of figure out how to make this transition and change and bring the people on and everything else. So I'll work with them on that. In corporate, it's we've got this person, they're going to make an excellent chief marketing officer. They're just not ready yet. Get them ready to become a chief marketing officer. So I'll work with them for 2 quarters with them on their teams. What's your leadership philosophy? What's your communication style? How do we put together a strategy as a CMO or a COO or whatever it is that you're looking to do? And I'll develop them and get them ready for whatever that next kind of level is. Or they'll bring me in and say, we've got this team and they need to work on, my specialties are, I call it adapting emotion, but how do you prepare for change when you don't know what change is coming? Executive communications is a big one because that was my corporate career. So how do you communicate at a C-suite level? Social wellness, and how do you get people to kind of build a social network and do that kind of work? And then philosophy. So I help people build just kind of an executive philosophy and belief system.
So you're teaching people how to talk, how to act in this role. So not so much like you're saying that you're in like a CMO or a CEO or a COO or anything like that. Do you have experience being all those things, or is you just saying that there is a script that you can follow?
There's a script that you can follow. I've spent so much time in boardrooms. What was nice about, so I fell backwards into executive communications, I'll call it like PR and investor relations and all of these types of things. And so I had this access to the C-suite at a very young age because I was writing speeches. I was doing all that kind of stuff. I was doing the PR work. I was getting them on CNBC. I was doing all that kind of stuff. And during the financial crisis, I was in like major decisions being made, but I had to be there because I had to help them package it and communicate it, different audiences and all that kind of stuff. So I was able to see what the executives who were really, really successful and the executives who were not, like there was a pretty stark difference. And what I've learned through that and from coaching other people, now I could teach to others. And it's not about this kind of, you'll hear a lot when people talk about getting to the C-suite about imposter syndrome and I'm nervous and all this other kind of stuff. But there is a comfort level. Like most times we're looking at the shiny ball, like I need more confidence. So that's 100% not what you need. What you need is some kind of self-assurance and belief that what you're doing is what you're capable of doing. And so we kind of break those things down.
I think
And
it
so
goes
when
for
you
anything.
know, for anything, right? Like people are afraid of public speaking, but they're not. What we're actually afraid of is social rejection.
100%.
So when you realize that it's not about speaking in public, it's about social rejection, it changes the way you prepare for your presentation. Your brain treats social rejection in the same way it treats physical pain. So when you see a room full of people and a room full of potential social rejection, you're afraid of it. It's why you have a fight or flight response, because your brain's thinking it's going to be physical pain. That's not a fear of public speaking. It's a fear of this social rejection. So now if I ask you to go up and speak in front of a group of strangers about the New York Giants, you'd be fine.
Oh, 100%.
Right? You could talk for 30 minutes.
Oh, I would talk.
But if I said, let's talk about your business strategy about this kind of thing and your idea, all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, am I going to get figured out? And will this idea be rejected? And all these other things. So how do you kind of get yourself around, talk about it from your perspective, your lens, so that you're more comfortable speaking about these things where it's more ownership, where you're like, this is just my perspective and belief, so there's no real social rejection, and people get much more comfortable speaking in that type of environment.
Yeah, but that emotional state of going up there in public speaking is painful. It is physically painful. You know, like I'm okay with it. I think I just over the years I've become a lot better that I could stand up in front of somebody and public speak. I also have this weird theory that everything's just kind of. I don't believe we live in a simulation, but I believe that none of this may not even be real.
That's
so
true.
Why the fuck do I care?
Yep.
You know what I mean? So when like I would tell myself that when I'd go to like talk to a girl, or I'd be like, you know, like none of this is real. I might as well just go do it. But I know that feeling of imposter syndrome. I know that feeling of I'm not good enough, or I walk into a room to go interview, and I'm looking around at the rest of the staff, and I go, wow, that they got it, you know, and I don't immediately.
Yep.
You know, you walk around like that person, they're walking the walk, but then all of a sudden you step into that little world that they're in, and you start like, you know, adjusting your walk a little bit to walk like them and to talk like them a little bit, and you're like, oh,
They don't know shit.
yeah, I don't want to be mean or say a bad word right now, but like they have no idea what's going on. And I try to teach like younger generation that as much as possible, to be like, dude, don't doubt yourself at all. Like nobody knows what's going on.
Nobody knows what's going on
at all.
But I will say, you know, pretending to know what's going on is where a lot of people make a big mistake.
Really? You think that's a mistake?
I think pretending to know what's going on, you're going to make some bad decisions. So what I would tell people to do is learn how to ask really, really good questions. Is much more important than pretending to know what's going on, because you're going to step in some shit if you're pretending to know that something's happening that's not really happening, and you can send people down the wrong. If you can, there's a humility component here where you're able to admit that you don't fully know. And when you take a look at some of the best executives or best leaders or best anything, those are the people who are comfortable enough in their own skin to say, I don't know what the answer is here. Give me your perspective, or give me more information, or tell me more about that. Like, they don't have to have all of those types of answers. And a lot of the work I do with executives is teaching people what a question is, because most people don't know what a question is, and how do you ask legitimate, real questions. I
don't know, because I could be wrong on this, but once you start getting to a higher and higher level of like the corporate America world, there's a fear of being wrong, right? So once you become like an officer in the corporate America, you don't really want to ask any questions. You're supposed to be the one that they're coming to for questions.
Well, I think
for answers.
If the fear of being wrong is stronger when you get higher in an organization, then why wouldn't you ask more questions? Right? Because if you're asking a question,
but who you can ask a question to?
Your team. You're supposed to surround yourself.
Yeah, no, I know, but that's what I'm saying. I'd be a little bit. I maybe see some people be a little fearful of doing that, of being vulnerable.
Vulnerability is a big challenge. I think the biggest challenge in corporate world and for most people is some kind of insecurity, whether it's imposter syndrome, whether it's, you know, showing that kind of vulnerability, admitting when you're wrong or anything like that. But when we can ask, I mean, we hire people for their perspectives, for their insights, for their expertise. You're not going to, a CEO is not an expert in all the, he's not an expert in marketing, he's not an expert in product, he's not an expert in legal, he's not an expert in HR and capital management, and he's not a financial expert. He may be very good in some of those things, but you then have to find your experts in those particular areas to say, all right, tell me more. And they're asking their people, and they're asking their people, and we've got this new initiative. You're going to have to find an expert on that and tell me how this would work. And they make long-term bets. Like, that's all a senior executive is doing, is making a bet with the best information that they have. And they have to surround themselves with the people who are going to get them the best answers that they can do.
Do you have a good example of anybody that you've helped rise up? Like, are you allowed to talk about that?
I can. I just can't use their names.
Okay.
What do you want the example of?
Well, just start from where they were to where they got. Like, what's your favorite one that's happened so far?
Where they are to where they got. I have one who wanted to be a chief strategy officer. Was working with her, and very quickly she realized that she did not want to be a chief strategy officer. She had a very misinterpretation of what the role was. And I'm so happy we did the work we did, because 2 years later she became CEO of a different company. So she went full CEO versus chief strategy. But going through the exercise of saying, she was saying, I should have been chief strategy officer, I should be chief strategy officer, I should be chief strategy officer. She was never getting the title because she shouldn't have been a chief strategy officer. And so we ended up working her through this. And then over time, she ended up becoming a CEO of a different organization. Now she's rocking it as a CEO and doing all that kind of stuff. So that's a good one. Another one I've worked with, my favorite story, my favorite coaching story, was a guy's wife reached out to me and took me out for coffee and started crying about how much of a different person he became at home because he figured out all of his work shit in terms of getting up to that next level and doing different types of work. Because there's a lot of time management stuff and all that other kind of, component for doing that type of work.
So she called you afterwards, not before.
It was her suggestion he get a coach, and then after we had worked together, she took me. She was crying in the coffee shop. He's taking the kids camping, like all that kind of stuff, and it worked.
Because he had more time, or he was just
He
less
had more
stressed out?
time. He was less stressed out. It was. I gave him back his weekends. He was able to have weekends again, so that was a really nice thing, and it was also helpful to walk through his priorities too.
When someone sits down with you, are they're usually at the point where they've just tried everything else? Or do they get it? Does someone suggest to them right away, be like, hey, you're post-college or you're 5 years into the corporate world, maybe you should get a coach to try to move on? Or is it like that example where the wife is like, my husband he's dying, I'm dying, I need to figure this out?
There's there's all kinds of reasons why people get coached. For some people, having a coach is like a handbag. Like, you just need to have a coach. People talk about that. It's like having a psychiatrist. Like,
I was going to ask something like that.
Like, there are people like that. I don't take clients like that. I have strong philosophy. So I don't work with anybody for more than 6 months. Will not work with them for more than 6 months.
Oh, I like this.
I have you work with me. We don't start anything until you tell me what success looks like at the end. How are you going to monetarily quantify this to show that it actually is worth the investment? And then what's the end date? So sometimes I work with people, usually not less than 3 months, but never more than 6 months. And towards the end of that engagement, I'm basically spreading things out, saying you're coaching yourself at this point. Like, you should be able to do this without me around. I've had a few clients come back and say, look, I just need a little bit longer. That's fine. Like, we'll do that. We're working on some big stuff.
Wait, is that who told you 6 months? Is this your trial and error?
No, it's generally like industry standard. If you're going to get an executive coach, it's every other week. You meet every other week for 6 months. That's kind of like the way that everybody just kind of talks about it. I think 6 months is pretty good. Most of the time, depending on what we're working on, we're done by about the 4 to 4.5 month mark.
So it's just usually around that time is when you're done working with them. I feel like if you work with them after that, now, because we talked about it a little bit before, like the adolescence never transforms into adulthood. Now you're parenting them. If it's past 6 months, maybe.
Well, I think you're just paying someone for company. Like, it's just kind of
I have thoughts on therapy. That
Yeah.
I think therapy should be for 3 to 6 months
Yeah.
at a time. And I don't know your thoughts on it, and I piss people off with this sometimes when I talk about it, but I think therapy should be about 3 to 6 months. You should take something off the shelf, revisit it, kind of deal with what you need to deal with, and then kind of put it back up there because, say it happened to you as a child or it happened to you in adolescence, you can address it. That's fine. But you also have to understand that you're an adult now, and you kind of have to learn how to navigate with it. So you kind of address it, you put it back on the shelf. If you're with a therapist for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, now I don't know. Now you're just revisiting the same pain, and now it's.
And the challenge I have with that too, especially these coaches who work on retainer, is the focus is no longer. It eventually becomes no longer about the client. It becomes about your revenue stream, and then it's not. You say, I can't lose these clients because I've got these 12 recurring clients, and that's going to impact my monthly income and everything else. So you just get settled, and you're not providing particular value to the person that you're supposed to be coaching. And you're not helping them, right? You may be listening to them, and sometimes they think they're being helped, but you're not helping them develop in any kind of meaningful way. If you're working with someone for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, now, therapy is a different kind of. I'm not a therapist, so there's
Now you're
a different
guru or something.
Right, I'm
You're
just
just
kind of right. Just following, everything will be okay.
Have you ever seen that show Silicon Valley?
No,
Oh,
but
okay.
I know it. It's yeah.
Oh, it's so much fun. If you just want to, it's so much fun.
All right.
It really is. But there's this one guru that follows around kind of the enemy of the show, the villain of the show, and he has this guru that just follows him around everywhere. But and you see that the guru is actually full of shit.
Yeah.
But so when the main guy's looking at him, he's a guru. But then he's sneaking out and grabbing coffee and snacks and stuff like that behind your back. But all right, so I did want to talk about the adolescence into adulthood.
Yeah.
How do you get into this? And explain to what exactly you meant by that.
So yeah, it was a therapist told me once that most people don't make the transition from adolescence to adulthood. And we were talking about a whole bunch of stuff, and I mean, I don't know what kind of therapist he was, but he said most people don't make the transition from adolescence to adult. There's all kinds of things.
Were you in therapy at the time?
No.
Were you just sitting
we were
in
at a
bar?
conference.
Oh,
we were we were this was that like
he
it
told
was
me
a
he was a
development.
therapist.
He's a therapist. I know he's a therapist. I don't know, he's not my therapist. But we were talking about development, and he said most people don't make the transition from adolescence to adulthood, and the difference is in adolescence people do things for you, but in adulthood you have to take responsibility to do things for yourself. And we were kind of talking about that, like you hear about a 14-year-old kid saying my parents screwed me up. You're like, yeah, okay, all right, that's probably valid. But if you're 45 and saying that, you're like, at what point do you just kind of have to make that kind of switch?
Well, I think you can still say it.
You can still say it.
Yeah.
But you can't blame. Can you blame your current situation at 50?
No, absolutely not.
Maybe you can. I mean, maybe people would disagree with that. But there is, when you think about the scale, there's scale, right? There's always a scale on all of this kind of stuff. But is there most of the stuff that people will whine and complain about? And this is like the whiny, complaining stuff. Like you should be a little tougher at this point. Like
I think most of the people say that I've met are tornadoes. Like they continue to just cause more destruction around the others in their
little
life.
Tasmanian devils that are.
Oh, and then when the sun comes back out, they like look behind, like what's going on,
Yeah.
and everyone else is all shaken up a little bit, being like, "Oh, what do you mean?"
Yeah.
And like, "What? It's sunny out. It's fine now." Those are the people that I just think they're the victims of the world, and I think there's also it's nice to live in that because you feel something. A lot of it, because I've been a victim in adulthood at times because I felt like I needed to, and it was wrong. I don't think it was right, but I felt something, right? I needed to feel something, so I needed things not to be my fault, and I needed a villain, and I needed to be the hero of that story as well. But
yeah, and you know what also though is interesting about that is it doesn't always. It's not always about someone's fault too. Like sometimes there's just a shitty situation.
Oh, true.
And you can see how the things just kind of shake themselves out. Like, one of my favorite quotes is, "We don't see things as they are; we see things as we are." And when you look at the way that other people interpret things and the other lenses, simulation, right? They've got a simulation that's different than our simulation, whatever it is. Their experiences to make them make the decisions that they have. How did they grow up? How did they, like, there's all kind of the spider web of just craziness where it doesn't take the responsibility of the way from people who do bad things. But there's also some kind of, not to validate it, I guess, but there's, people grew up in different times, right? And there were different things that were accepted, and there were different things that they learned, and it's,
the times are going to continue to change. I hate that when people say that line of, things were different when I grew up, and things were different in my time. Yeah, well, of course they were.
And they're better now.
Yeah, I think we're in the best time there ever could be. I really do that. I do think that. I think we're in the safest time in the world has ever seen.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah,
would not want to live during the medieval times, but
no.
just sickness, plagues. And
free
murder.
Honestly, like there's just no air conditioning. Like that's, for me, it would be no air conditioning.
I just watched a video come across that said, "What did people do when it used to be cold with no air conditioning?" And that was like the thumbnail for it. I was like, I don't know. I don't know. It was, what did peasants do? I think. Okay, so so this therapist tells you this, and you run with this, and now push it into your. Is this how you help coach people from? Can you see like the adolescence in them still and go, oh, I need to help you turn into an adult as a CMO or a COO?
Well, yeah, I think it's sometimes, or if I'm working with a team, like it's a lot of it is stop making, like in the corporate world, stop making excuses, right? Like at the end of the day, you have to do what it is. Like I hear a lot from teams like, oh, my coach or my boss doesn't give me the feedback I need to develop. I'm like, how are you asking for feedback? And they say, how am I doing? The boss says, fine. I'm like, all right. Like, he answered your question. But if you could say, look, I really want to be the CEO of a startup, how am I doing right now, and what advice would you give for someone who wants to be a CEO? Like, if you provide that context, now you're taking responsibility for the feedback you want to get, and your boss is going to give you very different feedback. Oh, you should talk to this person, you should talk to that person, you should do, whatever. So everything that we do, like when we go back to the questions, and what questions are you asking of other people, it's the questions we have to ask of ourselves as well. Like real honest questions. And a question is something where it's a request for information where you legitimately do not know the answer. Our judgments and assumptions impact our ability to ask questions of other people, but also the questions we ask internally of ourselves. And so when we're asking ourselves really hard questions, or we're answering them honestly and with conviction and with fairness and with love and with all those types of things that we need to give us the answers that we're actually looking for, or do we just shortcut it? Right? Like if you think about any conversation you have with anybody you're walking into a conversation, you know how it's going to go because you've got judgments and you've got assumptions and you've experienced with them and everything else. And you're probably guiding the conversation that way because of the way that you typically see it go.
Oh, it's just years of your own personal experience walking into a room. I mean, how do you break down those walls with somebody, though? I mean, I walk into a room and, I have a whole lifetime of how I think a conversation is, my fears, my past experiences, everything like that. When about any conversation I ever have, sitting here with you, right? I haven't seen you in 20 years, so now I have to get past some of these. I have to get past like how old are you now?
Oh, 46, 7.
Yeah, so you're 10 years older than me. Yeah. Do you know how old you were? How old you felt to me, being like 16 years old, seeing 8 years old, seeing an 18-year-old? How odd that is to be. You're ancient at that when I'm that age, right? So
I'm ancient now. That's all right.
No, dude, you're fine. You look good. You're still running marathons, right?
I did run a marathon, yes.
Recently, did you run the New York?
The New York one, yeah. That was painful. I didn't train for it. I can't do these anymore.
I ran 4 this year, 4 halves.
Nice.
Not doing fulls anymore. I've done fulls.
I'm done with the big races, I think. Yeah.
I'll do halves. Halves are fine.
It's a beautiful day. It's a 2-hour run. It's a very nice way to spend a morning.
Yes.
Yeah, I think like a half is my kind of max.
A half, nice you feel like you have put in enough effort to say that I did something hard, but you can still go throughout your day when you're done with it.
Right.
A full, you're destroyed.
Yeah.
And you're destroyed for a little while after. The last full I did, I was so destroyed it felt like I didn't know how to run again. When I decided a couple weeks later to start running again. Like it was like a shock to my body.
I did the Ironman a few weeks before it. And I was fine the next day. The New York City Marathon wiped me out for like 3 days. I don't know why. I don't know why.
This is a weird one because there is some runs I'll do completely fine. I don't know what I did 3 days or 7 days prior that I feel like shit for some of the runs. I don't know what it is. Yeah. I didn't change my diet. I didn't do anything like that. Mentally, I don't know. I really have no idea what it is. That sometimes I feel fantastic after a run. Other times it feels like I can't put my finger on what happened.
It is funny, like the psychology of running, and sometimes even just a 5K can feel like a slog because you only have to go 3 miles, but then you can run a marathon the next day and just be fine.
If you could just someone gives you $100 billion and you're like, all right, now I can focus on running or I can focus on something else like that. I think you think you'd still have those days. Because then you have all the free time to just say, all right, I'm going to focus on the science, when it comes to your body. You don't think you'd have those days?
No.
Every 5K feel the same?
No. Maybe. If I had $100 billion, I don't think I'd care enough to really
run. Or
I'd run a little. I think it was something that I thought I really wanted to do, and now I'm just like, I love running.
Same.
I love it. Like, it clears my head. It gets me thinking the right kind of way. I'm finding it harder and harder to be motivated to run. When I do it, I love it. But
I don't think you're someone who's going to stop running because you're not finding the motivation to run.
No, yeah.
It doesn't sound like you are from not seeing you in 20 years and then you're sitting here as a life coach, okay? So I think your answer has to be, yeah, you're right.
I think, you know what, I have to move every day. But it's not always going to be running. Yeah. Like, it's as you get older, your knees start to hurt. Like, there's all kinds of stuff that... And I have to, what I'm doing this year is I'm scrapping the marathon running. I'm scrapping the big run. I just need to learn how to settle and be settled with just like a 5K and just be happy with that. Like, that's enough to go for a 5K run and just like, that's enough today. Or go for a 30-minute swim and say, that's enough today. Hit the heavy bag for 20 minutes. Say, that's enough today. Like, I just need to chill out.
So you're an extremist, huh?
I'm an extreme, very much.
So
yes.
am I.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I put myself through pain. I think it's just part of it is to see if I could do it. I don't know if it's so I could feel something. I don't know what it is, but yeah, like I don't just sign up for a run. I sign up for an Ironman.
It has to be.
Yeah.
I won't do the Ironman anymore. Like that kind of stuff. I've done triathlons, I haven't done Ironmans. But that I'm the exact finding what you think you're looking for, that a 5K is peace. That's still a little bit extreme to somebody who doesn't run at all.
No,
You know what I mean?
I know.
To you, that seems like a simple to the extreme, but
It's so simple that I don't even want to go for a 5K run because it's not long
it's a
enough.
waste of time.
It
dude.
is. I'm like, it's
a
only
wa-
25 minutes, and I got to take a shower after a 25-minute run.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
But I think the exact same way, and I think that's ingrained in us. It must be passed down through us. But I've had to face the Frank that says, okay, can I do exactly what you're trying to do, and be like, all right, a 5K is enough. But then I've also come to the other Frank and be like, but this is kind of what makes you you. You know, like this is what you kind of like about yourself. This is what kind of makes you unique, is that you are somebody who will say, I will do 4 half marathons this year, 2 other runs, and I'm going to do that because I can. And now it just depends on how I'm going to talk about it. If I'm going to go around and tell everybody that I'm running all these half marathons, well, then that's why you know you're doing it. It's ego driven, whatnot. Or am I going to be this other individual that it's personal growth? I'll talk about it amongst runners, right? Because now we're bouncing things back and forth. Oh, I'm doing this run too, or whatnot. Or I really like that one. I've done this one before. Now it's a club, but it's just got to know why I'm doing it. Or I have to break it all the way down and go, do I just have body dysmorphia? And I know that if I run 30 miles a week, I can eat and not feel like shit.
Yeah.
So it's really like, am I running out of fear? Or am I running out of because I think I'm like this is where my mind goes with this stuff.
So and this is deep where my head, like as I was doing the Ironman this year, I'm just like, what the hell am I, like I've done this before. Why am I even putting myself through this? It's just dumb. A lot of my challenges have been around this feeling, like it's a feeling of belonging. Like I don't really belong. I don't really fit. And I feel like I was trying to identify as a triathlete, as an Ironman, and all of those things. And I was doing triathlons like all the time. But that's not really the identity. It's not me. Like I feel like I was just escaping the real person I wanted to be, and I was using the Ironman as an excuse, or the running as an excuse. There is a great community of runners. There are people who are like, they're true runners. I'm not a true runner. I enjoy running, but I'm not a runner the way that other runners are running. Like probably like you're a runner. Like if you're a runner that way, the way you're talking about it, you're much more of a runner than I am, where it's more of your identity. I feel like I was forcing that identity on me as much as I love it, to do the events and the marathons, and I got to do all that kind of stuff. And now it's like, can I be okay not being that and just sitting with myself and being okay with myself? I think that's why I drank so much. It's why I was always smoking. I needed to change my state, that I can't just be in one place for 15 minutes. I have to do something. And I got to figure out, like, I don't know if meditation's going to do it or what, but there is this kind of like, just sit, be settled, be still for like 30 minutes. Can you do that?
It's uncomfortable.
And then it's very uncomfortable. Yeah.
It's so uncomfortable. And that's one thing that, I consider myself a runner, like you're saying, but I also, so I was vegan for a bit. I'll kind of bring it there. I was vegan for a bit. And there was a part of me when I was vegan, I went, I don't really want to do this anymore. But it was so much a part of me that I was afraid of what people would think of me if I stopped being vegan.
Mm-hmm.
So I switched to vegetarian and then, went on this whole path. But I also kind of needed that to be like, hey, I'm not that anymore. And people are like, you kidding me? You criticize the hell out of me for eating chicken wings. And I was like, sorry about that.
That was the old
now
Frank,
I got to make
right. Now I'm a chicken-loving Frank.
Yeah. But that's the thing with running too. Like and then I create these little things in my head too of, all right, well, I told people that I'd like to get my half marathon to 1 hour and 33 minutes. So now I have to do it. Now I'm pushing through this thing, running at a 7-minute pace for a half marathon.
What a miserable experience that would be.
But I did it. But now I have to go sub 7 per mile. I can do this. But and then but that's the thing. What I started out enjoying, now I'm like just pushing it. Now that I'm making it a task and a job and it's work.
Yeah.
Right. And now I think no one's looking up to me because I'm out there by myself. But I'm thinking people are.
Yeah.
At times, or at least I'm telling myself to make myself push a little harder.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think I'll keep running though, just because I have gotten to this point of where I really do enjoy it.
There has never been a time where I went for a run and I was upset that I went for a run.
Okay.
right? Like it's
Yeah.
at the end of every run, it's like I say running's like a kale salad. Nobody wants to eat a kale salad,
No.
but you feel good after you eat a kale salad. You feel good after you
You
run.
feel good that you made that choice.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
And it's done. At that point, it's done. And you're like, all right. And you get the oxygen to the brain and everything's flowing and everything feels good. And yeah.
yeah, like my belly is now full with that kale salad instead of eating 4 cookies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now it's like, oh, okay, I'm settled. My energy's
You
healthy.
feel
on this.
light, right? I didn't eat all those Girl Scout cookies or crumb cake or whatever the hell.
Now, when you like convert this over to still being a life coach, how do you now kind of knowing how your mind works a little bit, that you're a bit of an extremist, you're going to take things, to a certain level. How do you deal with your mind working, with how you want somebody else to maybe transition into whatever goal that they're looking for? Do you struggle with this?
No, not at all. It's there is an amazing book called Helping by a guy named Edgar Schein, and he was a professor at MIT. He basically wrote an academic book on how to help people. And what you have to realize, like in a coaching relationship, and a lot of coaches don't get this, you are irrelevant as the coach, right? Because everything is about the other person getting to where that they want to go. So no matter how extreme you want to be, right, just because I would do it one way doesn't mean that they're going to do it. And I tell all my clients this too. Like at the end of the day, you're holding the bag on all of this. So a lot of coaches will just sit there and say, oh, yeah, you should just do this, but they don't have to deal with the consequences of the decision. So we go deep into decisions and can you do that? And what are your motivations? What are your values? And all of those types of things. But if you want to help someone, first they have to want to be helped. So you have to do that pre-work to say, are you open to getting my feedback? You may be paying me as a coach, but are you open to my feedback in this particular way? And how do you get them open to hearing what it is that you have to say? And have you built that trust? And have you built that kind of ability to get them to question where they are and what they want to do in those types of ways? And you learn people over time with the types of discussions we have. We go very, very deep on what's important to them, where they want to go, what they think they want to do, all these types of things. And so as you help people, like I can go extreme if I want to, but then that's suddenly now I'm making that person me. Like it's not, the way that I would do things is, they would ask, oftentimes I get the question, what would you do? I say, I'm not going to answer that. Like that's not, because what I'm going to do is going to be very different than what you should do.
So you're not dealing with people who are just entry level at all or anywhere near the entry level. You're dealing with people who have some type of discipline already.
Yeah. I mean, I've done some work with the entry level stuff, but most companies don't pay me enough to do that.
Yeah.
So I don't take those clients. But they also don't have a level of maturity to do the work that needs to be done.
So you already deal with people who have, some experience or some maturity in this.
You need some experience, you need some maturity, you need some kind of belief system in place that I can challenge.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Oh, I like that.
There is, you've had experiences, you've seen managers and executives who have done good things and bad things. You've internalized them, you've interpreted them. You have experience managing other people, and you've had good experiences, bad experiences. You've had people that you've managed that you did not like and that you did like. And I can leverage all of that in developing you into the next kind of executive that you wish to be. So you need some kind of belief system. Otherwise, it's just kind of like I've worked with the frontline employees. It goes over their head a little too much. And so oftentimes I'll go back to the company and say, it's a little over their heads. I'm working with them, but here's like half the money back. Because it's not that kind of severe type of coaching.
I don't know if those people at the front lines really want to do anything else. Do they really want to move on? Or do they like just being on the front lines and being an infantryman? Being a grunt?
No, nobody likes being a grunt.
No?
Nobody likes being a grunt. Actually, that's a lie. They may like being a grunt if they have something outside of being a grunt that they're working for.
Okay.
I remember applying. I was in the middle of my interviews for one of the jobs that I had in corporate, and a woman who was going to report to me said, "Let me ask you a question. I don't want a promotion. I don't want to go anywhere else. I don't want to develop. I just want to be in this job. I want to go home. I want to have dinner with my kids. Will you leave me alone?" And I said, "Yes." She goes, "All right, fine. Then I'm voting for you." Like everybody feels like in corporate, they say, "Oh, where are you developing? And you have to improve. And what's your next step? And all these types of things." Some people don't want. Some people don't want to match people. Some people just want to be an individual contributor. Some people don't want.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
My buddy and I were just talking about that. Where it's so funny. Last night we were talking about this. He's working with some other individuals who have a wife, they have kids, and they're trying to get to middle management right now, and but they're also working a second job.
Mm-hmm.
And my buddy's like, I hope I never get there, where I have to work so hard to get to these other places. He likes just going to work, and then he works on all this stuff at home.
Mm-hmm.
He builds these other softwares and does all these things on the side and whatnot. And he goes, "This is my paycheck,
Yeah.
and I want to work on my stuff."
Yep.
So I guess it is. He may not like being a grunt, but it doesn't bother him so much as someone else.
Well, I mean, let's say you want to be a musician, and a musician doesn't pay good money. You can either
He's a musician too.
you can go get a job that pays for you to enjoy your musicianship, or you become a musician and just lower your expenses, and so you're not, you got to cut all of the things that you thought you were going to do.
Yeah.
And that's, life's a game of sacrifice.
Man, I don't know. I feel like I could use a life coach sometimes. I really do. So, but then also I feel like I could be a life coach for somebody else sometimes.
Yeah, everybody needs something different. And sometimes it's, you know what? I think the reason people go for life coaching is, and clients have told me this from an executive coaching standpoint, I really like these because I could say what I feel and there is zero judgment. And I feel people say that to me.
Okay.
About liking to work with me because there is zero judgment. You can tell me anything. Like, as long as you haven't murdered someone, I'm like a happy, like, whatever, fine. Like, I'm kind of indifferent on the way that most people operate. Like, you do whatever you want to do.
You know how many people are in corporate America feel like they can't say things that they truly
can't say
want to say?
because they're going to be judged. They're going to be like,
Oh,
we
HR.
live everywhere we go.
You're
But
a corporate
not even,
therapist.
Not even in corporate. Like, everywhere you go, you're being judged.
Yeah, for sure. But you're a corporate therapist. It's kind of like what it is.
That's people joke about that, yeah.
Yeah, that's your. I mean, I feel like in this day and age, with everything being so PC, it's like I can't say this, I can't say that, or can I? I need someone to talk to. But I think that's also something we've gotten away from as human beings is the ability to be able to talk to another person.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like they're silencing us in this way that it's like now I have a list of words I can and cannot say, or a list of statements I can and cannot make with everybody.
And I think a lot of it is we've been trained to be right. Since we've been born, like you go to school, you're supposed to be right. And I think we've blurred the line between beliefs and facts. You cannot believe something and know something at the same time. And so when you have a real belief system in place, you don't have one until you can understand why someone would believe something different, right? And that's a full understanding of what a belief is. And I don't think people take the time to say, what are my beliefs? Like if you were to sit down and say, what do you believe? Most people don't have an answer, right? I sat down, I wrote down. I have 6 core beliefs that I kind of operate on.
What are your beliefs then?
Oh, man.
Yeah, dude. What are your beliefs, Jimmy? He doesn't even know. Give me 1 or 2.
I'll give you all 6.
Okay. Wow.
Number 1 is there's nothing that can't be done.
All right.
Right? Which is a belief. Now,
That's
technically,
fine.
yes.
You
right?
don't know
in
that.
theory, right?
But it's a belief.
But
Okay.
there's, right. So, but there is, it drives a lot of, when I'm working with someone, and they say they can't do something, I say, why not? Like somebody says, oh, I always wish I could write a book. Why don't you? Like, write a book. Or I've always wanted to start a business. Why not? Well, it's too expensive. How much is it going to cost? I don't know. Well, then you don't. It's not like anything is really possible if you just have to get the information that you need and all that stuff. So there's nothing that can't be done. Number 2, there are no rules, which was like an epiphany moment about a year and a half into starting my own business, where I had to unlearn all of the rules that were imposed on me in corporate. And this was big in the ayahuasca thing with the wolf and like all that kind of stuff was, I cannot operate in a rules-based environment. If you try to put rules on me, it's not going to work. Like it's very much not going to work for me. So there are no rules. Now I do think there are right and wrong ways to do things, but ultimately there are no. You do whatever the fuck you want. You just go do it. Like there are no rules.
No, I love this one.
Number 3, always make sure the last person gets home, is a belief.
What does that mean?
And we used to do this always to the bar, and I was kind of an enabler. Like everybody would go out.
Something good came out of it.
But I always made sure, no matter how trashed we got, everybody got home. And there's someone that's lagging. There's always somebody behind who needs a little bit of help or a little bit of extra attention. Give them the extra help and the extra attention. Make sure that everybody gets across the finish line. It's a very important thing. Like whether it's a corporate, whether it's with your team, whether it's with friends, everybody's going to need some help. So make sure that you could be a person who could be helpful to other people. I think that's important. Number 4, there's always room for one more. And I remember growing up, people would just show up for like a cup of tea, and they'd put the tea kettle on. It'd only be like a little tiny like sliver of cake, and they would just chop it up in 4 or 5 different ways. Everyone would just get one bite. Like there's always room for one more person at the table. So have people come in, and the more people that come to your table, the more perspectives get shared, the more fun you're going to have, the more enjoyment you're going to have. So like open the doors to more and more people. And then the final two, one, I felt like I had to put a religious one in there. And so
That's good.
Yeah, it's I believe that heaven and hell exist. I don't believe they exist after you die. I believe that they are states of being when we are authentic to ourselves or not. So you are either living in a heaven or living in a hell, and it's a metaphor for how we're supposed to be living with us. I don't feel like we're judged at the end of our life. And then the final one is this too shall pass. No matter what trouble is coming up or what happiness is coming up, whatever it is, it's going to pass, and everything is kind of a fleeting moment. Those are my 6.
Those are good. I like 3 and 4, especially bringing those other people into that one. You know, there's always room at the table, especially.
Yeah.
I love that one, actually. I watch too many people go through the day that just like to shun, judge, push away. And I like doing this, for example. I'd like human beings are my favorite type of. I get my best education from another human being. Mm-hmm. So bringing another person to the table is something else I can learn from them.
Yeah.
Ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca.
So is this how you stop drinking?
No, I did ayahuasca 5 years after I quit drinking.
How long ago did you quit drinking?
October of 2018, so
6 years?
7.5 years ago.
Oh. Yeah. And are you okay talking about this?
Yeah, oh yeah.
And it just came to a point, because I talked to you about it a little bit. You just got to a point where you just said, no, I don't want to do this anymore. It's not working in my life.
Yeah.
It was as simple as that.
I mean, simple as that. Yeah, it was. I went out. When you work for yourself and you work at home, and this is like pre-COVID, you take clients out and you wake up in the morning and you got a little hangover, so you have like hair of the dog, but you're also just working on. There's no real accountability in anything. Like it was just too easy for me. I had a daughter at home, a young daughter, and I was looking in the mirror and I'm like, I was doing fine in business, but I wasn't doing what I really wanted to in the business. I was tired around my kid. I wasn't playing with her as much as there were all this kind of stuff. I'm like, the booze isn't adding any kind of benefit. And I've toyed with the idea of quitting drinking for years, but I never had the guts to really do it. And so finally I pulled the trigger and I went to my wife. I said, I need to quit drinking. And I knew that she was going to hold me accountable.
You think that's what it is? You think it takes guts to stop drinking?
Yeah, I do. I think it takes guts. It's but guts for different reasons, right? Like there were a lot of things going through my mind of like, if I'm not a drinker, then what am I? Like a question of identity. Like all my time was in a bar, right? All my friends were from the bar. Like everything was. So if I'm not a drinker, then what am I? So there was like an identity question, which I didn't realize until after I quit drinking. But then it's also what will the neighbors say? Like, how do you kind of explain to people that you're not drinking? Like all that kind of, stupid stuff. And so that was when I signed up for my first Ironman, was I quit the drinking. I signed up for the Ironman as my excuse.
You sound like an alcoholic, bro.
Sorry. Well, of course. Yeah.
You sound like us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're
No,
an
I was.
extremist, dude.
Yeah.
That's what we are.
But I used the Ironman as an excuse, and then nobody really cared that I wasn't drinking. And I realized how easy it was. Like, it's just, like, nobody cared. And then I became more comfortable just talking about, like, I can't drink anymore. I'm not going to drink anymore. And then and nobody cared.
We care so much more than we think people care.
Nobody thinks about you half as much as you think.
Oh, even talking about the public speaking thing. When you're up there public speaking, or I'm watching somebody else, I'm not even like so much focusing on them. I'm still thinking about myself. Mm-hmm. Of like, what this person's talking about something, and I'm just thinking about me.
I'm coasting.
When I stopped drinking, I thought that too. I felt like I had to explain. I haven't drank in almost 10 years. I haven't been sober all that time. Weirdly enough, I don't know how I went back to drugs, but I never picked up booze again for some reason. I don't know how I didn't do that, but I mean, I have my reasons why. But when I stopped drinking, my first thought was I need to explain myself to everybody.
Yeah.
And you don't.
You don't. You don't have to explain shit.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Or most of the people are going to go,
it's about time.
Yeah, good
That's
job.
I had a couple of those.
Yeah,
They're like, good for you, Jim.
Ah,
you finally got the message.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, so no one's going to go, oh, man,
Yeah, it's
Ah,
nice your
jeez.
pants are staying on all night. That's
Yeah.
great at the bar.
And that last guy that no man left behind, you were the man left behind. Dude, yeah.
We were
no
dragging
wonder
you, dumbass.
Yeah, dude. No wonder you thought nobody was left behind. You were the last one. I kept doing a good job.
Hey, yes.
You turn that into a little skit. You just going down the street like, no, everybody's home safe.
I'm
you know?
doing the good thing
Yeah.
today.
These are my beliefs. Dude, it's so much fun to think what I like to. I put like my old drinking behaviors into like little skits in my head that of like things that I thought were really good ideas.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then I
yeah.
try to think about what they actually looked like. Like you always watch like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, those I just picture myself like in that show, doing these old things that I used to think were actually really good ideas, and that's it. But yeah, I'm drinking. I mean, there's that saying that a lot of the bad things that happened in my life happened when I was drinking, but nothing bad has ever happened, like when I was sober. Like the type of
Yeah.
it's something like that.
Nobody's ever woken up and said, "I'm so happy I did not drink last night," or like it's you sit there and you say like you regret your big drinks, but nobody's ever regrets waking up not hungover,
No.
right? It's just kind of
Yeah.
yeah, it's just it doesn't. And the more you do it, and the more comfortable you get talking about it, it almost becomes comical. Like I think it's comical that I used to drink as much as I used to drink. How much I dislike it now. Like it's, it doesn't bother me that other people do it, but like I don't like the smell of it. I don't like the taste of it. I don't like my wife will have a drink sometimes. I'll take a sip. I'm like, that's gross. Like I can't even like,
Really?
stomach it.
You
Yeah.
can do that?
Oh yeah.
I can't.
I have. So what happened with me after I quit, and Gabby looked at me. She goes, "Do you need AA?" I said, "I don't need AA." She goes, "Do you need AA?" I said, "I don't need AA." She goes, "Do you need AA?" I said, "I don't need AA." I said, "Let
Well,
me
have you
try."
ever done AA?
I never did AA,
Well, how do you know if you don't need it?
but I said to her because I've done it.
Oh, you have. Oh, now you.
No, I haven't done it. No,
Oh.
but I've. So I said to her, I said, if I can't go and do this, be successful doing it on my own, then I will go to AA or I will try some other kind of thing.
Okay.
And what helped me realize that this was going to be much easier. It was like dusk, and I was running to a store, and I was at a light, and there was a bar in the corner, and I really wanted to go into the bar. Like it was the first time I really got drawn in. I'm like,
Oof.
oh, I gotta, and I'm trying to coach myself through it at the light. I'm like, what am I really, what do I really want? I mean, I kept going to the table outside, and I noticed the ashtray, and what I really wanted with all the drink was I really wanted a cigarette, and I hadn't had a cigarette in years. But that realization that most of the time, like, yeah, you drink to escape. But a lot of times I wanted to drink just so I could have more cigarettes. And my real addiction is cigarettes. I actually don't enjoy drinking. And so now I don't even think about a drink as an option. I'll always be craving cigarettes. Like that's going to be no matter how long I've quit. But cigarettes are my real.
I love them. I don't do them anymore either.
Yeah.
But I love a cigarette.
It's crazy. Yeah.
I smoke Newports too.
They don't make those anymore, do they?
Yeah, they do.
Oh,
Maybe
they
not
do?
New York.
Oh, yeah.
New
They were
York, they might
banning
have-
them in a couple of places.
Yeah, no, they make them around here because I still pick them up every so often. But oh man, a one cigarette after your like third beer or your second beer.
I know. It's like it hits
Oh,
in a certain kind of way.
and you just sit out there, chain smoke cigarettes, have a few beers.
But then the
yeah.
odd thing too is like, yeah, that feels nice, but you're basically stealing your happiness from the next morning because you're gonna wake up the next morning and you're just gonna feel like a bucket of yuck, like it's so nasty.
Yeah. No, I ran a half marathon in Philly in June, and I quit smoking completely for 7 years. I was still using like nicotine pouches and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I still do use those. I actually don't have any on me, and probably 3 minutes into this, I almost freaked out. I did. I was like, we're gonna have to restart for a second. But I was like, what are you doing? It actually hit me. I was like, I need to revisit this addiction to nicotine right now if I'm about to stop.
Yeah.
But I ran this half marathon in June, and I had picked smoking up again on and off for about a year, and I ran that one, and my time was still pretty good. And I went, all right, this is okay, but I feel like shit.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I should be feeling fine, and it was weird. I just woke up the next day. I didn't have any cigarettes, and it just didn't. I had no urge to get them either.
Nice.
It was nice.
Yeah.
But I have considered ayahuasca, but I have to be careful with it because I've also did a lot of mushrooms before to try to get off of drugs.
Mm-hmm,
You know, and I have to be like, is it the same? like, cause seriously, I tell a funny story. Well, I think they're funny stories. I don't know if others do, but I've relapsed before and been like, all right, my solution to a spiritual experience is an ounce of mushrooms, a quarter gram at a time, and try to figure it out. When I think of ayahuasca, I think, is this just my brain trying to be like, you're just really trying to get high.
Yeah.
You can have a spiritual experience through prayer and meditation and helping other people, bringing them to meetings, going to rehabs and talking. These are spiritual experiences you can have. You don't need Mother Earth,
Yeah.
To do this. So tell me about it. How did you do this after 5 years?
I can't say how much it's like. I've never done mushrooms. I've never done any psychedelics. Like, this is very out of the ordinary for me.
Oh, wow.
So I saw an interview about, I don't know how I saw it, but it came up. And I knew inside me that I had to do it. Like, it was a very weird kind of, like, there was just no question. And it wasn't about me getting permission from Gabby or anything. It was like, how do I convince Gabby that I'm going to do this? Like, there was zero question in my mind that I needed it. And that I needed to do it. And so fortunately for me, Gabby's cousin had done it. And she came to visit, and we were peppering her with questions on that kind of thing.
Yeah, what'd she say?
That she thought it was a good experience, and so like that was it. Like, it was as long as her cousin told her, and then she's like, "All right, fine, just go." I'm like, "Yeah, all right, I'm going."
Oh, so she trusts a cousin. Nice.
Yeah.
So if you need anything else in life, just
That's
go
it.
get the
Go to
cousin.
Katie.
Go
That's
get
right.
the cousin.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
good.
Sure.
All right. So how long was your experience? Days or weeks?
I went for 10 days.
Okay, so you got more of the full experience.
Yeah, there were 4 ceremonies. I participated in 3 of them.
What country?
Peru.
Nice. You went where you need to go.
Yeah.
For all the research, because I have heavily researched.
I did tons of research on it. The place that Katie recommended started having some kind of negative, they're jamming too many people in. It's a very touristy thing to do now. And so what got me drawn to this one in Peru was real big on the website is, we are not psychedelic tourism. Do not come here for, like, this is medicine. This is, it was a very serious kind of, and it was the right kind of place for me. It was no frills. There was no hot water.
Were you in the mountains?
I was in the Amazon jungle.
Oh.
Yeah, it was. And it was the rainy season.
Amazon jungle.
Yes.
Okay.
It was.
Now it's 10 days long. Are you, from what I've researched, did you have like a little bed that you slept on the floor, or were you in your own room?
Yeah, they have something. I forget what it's. It's like a big room. So you've got your own little hotel room or something, right? Like, they've got a bed, a bathroom, and there were only 5 of us doing it. So it was nice. They could have fit like 40 in the Majorca.
But they knew you were coming. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, right. That's it. So you have your own room, but then you go in. The ceremony's in this screened-in porch, and they give you can take what you want. You can take a chair, you can take a mattress, whatever. They give you your bucket
to throw up.
up.
Yeah, explain to me like I don't know anything. Like,
so you go in, the ceremony starts. You're gonna get to the place. They feed you. No pork, no sugar, no caffeine, and you're supposed to not eat a bunch of things before you go, because they can all interact with the medicine. So I did not know that there was going to be no caffeine, and I'm a very big, like, 2 French press a day. So I didn't do well with the medicine, with the no smoking, the like nicotine kind of thing, and there is a big tobacco component down there, and like all that kind of stuff. We learned about it. We chopped the vine off of the thing.
oh, you got your own?
Yeah, they bring it, and we had to mash it, and we made the thing. We put it all into a big pot, and we learned about what to expect. The next day,
farm to table ayahuasca.
It was farm to table ayahuasca. The next day, we boiled it. We had a ceremony in the morning to boil the drink, and then the ceremonies happened at night. And so that night, it was probably 6 o'clock at night or something. We met in there. The ceremony starts with the shaman. They do the chants, and they do all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then they give you a drink, and it's the most disgusting thing that you will ever put into your body. They say, please hold it in you for at least 15 minutes before you throw up, so they can finish the ceremony outside to keep out the bad spirits and all that kind of stuff. But you're basically drinking, like, if you were to boil a pack of cigarettes in water and then drink it, that's what it tastes like.
I take it.
Yeah.
Newports, yeah.
Yeah. It was disgusting. Like, and then your visions start. And it lasts 4 to 6 hours.
Whoa. Intense visions like that for 4 to 6 hours?
Yes.
What?
Yes. It can. One woman didn't have the first 3 ceremonies. She didn't have any visions. She just got sick.
What about you?
I had visions.
Did the Giants win the Super Bowl?
No.
Shit. You're a Giants or Jets?
But in one of the, I'm a Giants guy.
Okay.
In one of the visions, I was on the field at Yankee Stadium.
Oh wow.
And then I said, why am I was, you could talk to the medicine. I'm like, why am I not at Shea? And so it flipped and put me on Shea. So that was.
Oh, shut the fuck up! Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, nice.
But you will be, I had to, when the vision started, everybody, ayahuasca is about confrontation. That's what they were kind of driving home is like whatever you have in you. Like I gave up drinking, but I didn't fix whatever problems were making me drink.
Fuck.
It's like my brother, or not my brother, my son is afraid of the dark right now. And he tries to put a light on when he goes to bed. I said, Jay, you can do that, but you're not going to sleep well. Like just because you put on a light it's not going to fix you being afraid of the dark. So we're trying to work like how do we address being afraid of the dark? And that's what the ayahuasca thing's about, confronting whatever it is. My second ceremony, I opened up the gates of hell and fought demons for like 6 hours straight. Like demons came out. I had a conversation with Satan. Like it was heavy, dark, kind of crazy stuff. And I'm shaking on the floor and puking in a bucket and like all that kind of stuff. It's not a pleasurable experience at all. It's not a pleasurable experience at all.
If you don't believe in a God, how is it say? Do you do believe in a God?
I believe it depends on how you define God. Yeah, I believe
Understood.
in God. Yeah.
What do you mean you're fighting with demons for 6 hours?
That was my second vision.
What do you walk down? Like visualize.
So all right. So the first.
Do you remember like the visualization?
I can go through every part of every vision I had, like it was yesterday. I think about this every day. I think about my ayahuasca every day for the last 2 years, and I could see it very clearly. So the first one was like really about my history and all kinds of stuff like that. There was me riding a bike up a mountain like a triathlon, and I was like this big kind of need for achievement and like all this kind of stuff. There was all kinds of stuff, and it all made sense. And I was flying through space, and I was seeing all these animals and like all that kind of stuff, and they all meant something. And there was a wolf that kept looking at me. The second ceremony, the wolf came back, and it was like you can't wear red or black in the screen imports because those are the colors of evil. And he was bright red and snarling at me. And I got sucked into his eye because I thought I had to fight the wolf, like in my vision. I thought this was like my demon or something. Like I didn't know what it was that I was trying to do, but so I said to the wolf, I said, let's do this. And I got sucked into his eye, and it opened up the gates of hell. And demons, thousands of demons came out, and Satan rose above them, and I fought demons for hours and hours and hours. And I had yellow jackets flying around me trying to sting me. I killed a yellow jacket, so I killed something. I don't know what it was, but I felt like lighter. The snake was coming around, like eyeball. Like, it was all kinds of shit.
So you're fighting like,
I was in like a Thunderdome with a big sword, like Brad
you had a
Pitt and
weapon.
Troy. I felt like I did. I don't remember seeing a weapon.
Okay.
But I remember like throwing shit around. Like it was, I don't know. I was some kind of badass. I didn't really see me. I just saw the things that I was fighting.
This is fun. All right, no, this is day 2. I know it doesn't sound fun to you, but this is fun to me right now. But listening to this, it's making me kind of want to consider it. This is not pleasurable at all by day 2 of doing this. And now you're doing this over the 10 days. Is this 4 days in a row you're taking 4 treatments?
No. So the first day you get there and you have dinner and you learn about it. The second day you boil it and you have this first ceremony that night. The third day you're off. The fourth day you have that ceremony that night. Fifth day you're off.
After that first ceremony, were you fearful to go into the second one?
No, in fact, I was a little too casual going into the second one because the first one was, I'm like, oh, okay, this is interesting. I had no prior experience with psychedelics. I knew it didn't taste very good. I knew I got sick. Like it wasn't that I didn't want to drink it again, but I wasn't fearful of whatever the vision was going to be.
How much of it do you have to drink? 8 ounces?
8 ounces, yeah.
Ah, that's nothing, dude. 8 ounces of nicotine.
It's gross.
Or
It's
about
not, dude.
Newport.
It is so disgusting. It is so disgusting.
Yeah. All right. So then you go into the second day. You fight demons. Are you a little more fearful going into the third day?
No. Well, so the second one, I fought demon. It went into a deeper. After my conversation with Satan, like this goes into big.
Oh, you spoke with him.
Oh, I had a full conversation.
What did he say? Nice guy.
He said, "Stop fighting."
Oh, he was a nice guy.
He was. He
Oh, yeah.
goes, Like, let's knock off the shit. Go back to the way you were before you came here, and life will be more fun and shorter the way you want it. So he's basically telling me, like, your decisions, you're just trying to kill yourself early, like that kind of thing, and that's what you want.
Oh, so he's telling you to go back to drinking?
Go back to all, and the snake that was following me around was turning into all these things. It was turning into a pillow, trying to get me to fall asleep, because you fall asleep during ayahuasca, you're not having your vision. It was turning into booze. It was turning into like every kind of, like, think of a cardinal sin, and it was turning into like one of those things, like laziness and sloth and like gluttony and all that kind of stuff. Like, you could just go do whatever you want.
Wow.
And it was like turning into that, and I could see it. But I was surprised at how quickly I told him, no, that's not what I want. And I said, I need to feel what love is. I don't know what love is. And I got sucked out of this Thunderdome, and I went flying all the way up. And I saw like a godlike figure who was way bigger than this entire thing. And it was female, and her eyes were closed. And she was holding my mother-in-law, passed away like a year before. She was holding my mother-in-law in her hand. And my mother-in-law woke up and took my hand and took me back to fight. And like, that was the feeling of love. Like, and we just fought demons. We were just fucking killing demons. It was like, I was in bed sleeping and crying for 2 days after this. Like, I was an emotional wreck after this whole entire vision. So the third one, I didn't know what to expect, because like, that was so heavy. So I went in with like that kind of love lesson, like looking for love and everything. And then the wolf was in the third one, but it was very tame. And I realized that the wolf was like, I guess, a vision of me or something, like my spirit animal or something. And it was helping me kind of. So the third one, I was going through clouds. It was leading me through like a cloud, like a very kind of dark mist. And I'd lose it, and I had to teach myself how to ask the wolf for help. So it's basically like a lesson of how do you ask for help when you need help. And then there were times where I was walking down like a thin line, and hell was one way and not hell was another way. And it was depending on the way I was laying on the floor, I was facing hell or not. So it was like, you have choices on the way that you like. Like, there were all kinds of lessons in the way that went. But it ended with, the third one ended with me at a very old age, at like my 90th birthday party with like grandkids running around or something like that. So it was almost like the lesson of, you can have a long life if you make the changes you want. I didn't participate in the fourth ceremony.
Why?
I couldn't stomach the drink anymore. I was done.
Oh, it was really
I also
bad.
felt like I went the full arc. Like, I had done, I don't know what other lesson was going to be in it at that point, and I was so wiped from the other three that I was like, I'm just going to sit in here and be quiet tonight, and you guys can drink.
So that one, you sat back and watched everybody else do it?
Yeah.
What?
I fell asleep. I mean, it's nighttime. It goes
Oh.
until like midnight, so I just kind of.
So you went to the main room with them and fell asleep?
Yeah.
You ever think about wanting to do that again? Like you were missing something?
I do and I don't. Like, part of me wants to do it again to be validated by the wolf that I made the changes I need to make. Like, I want some kind of validation from the medicine saying like, yeah, you've done it. But in a weird way, like, why do I need the validation? Why don't I just do it? I don't want to drink the drink again.
Do you feel like it helped at all? Not want to drink again? Because people will go down there and say like, I need to stop drinking. I'm going to go do some ayahuasca, and people come back and they're like, I haven't drank in 2 years.
Yeah. No, there are people who use that. I feel like drinking or a lot of these other addictive things, it's like the light versus, being scared of the dark. You turn on the light, you can drink. It doesn't change why you're afraid of the dark.
Mm-hmm.
So why are you really drinking? And I think that's where the ayahuasca thing can come in and do some good. Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people have sworn that it's helped them. But I think you have to, if you're thinking about doing it, I would encourage you to talk to someone who's done the mushroom things as well, maybe who's gotten a more similar experience to you, to make sure that it's the right kind of fit and that you're comfortable with it. I would never just recommend somebody go do this, because you have to want to get through this. Like, it's not a pleasurable experience.
Well, no, it's a good thing that it sounds like it wasn't a pleasurable experience. If I thought it was pleasurable, it'd make me want to do it. You know, then I'd really have to be: am I drug seeking, or am I trying to get the medicine part of it out of it? But the only reason I haven't won, is I have a fear of, because when I had relapsed years ago, my thing, I didn't relapse and go like right for cocaine. I didn't relapse and go right for some other drug. it was too much. It starts out with a little bit too much pre-workout. And then I start taking a little cough medicine that I know I shouldn't be taking, and it's getting me jacked up a little bit. And all of a sudden, I'm taking now for weeks on end,
Mm-hmm.
and then that like switch has been flipped,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and now it's like that was a little bit. I want more,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I don't touch anything now.
Yeah.
Caffeine, I do that. I do a lot of that. But that's my belief, man. If I go down and do some ayahuasca, is it my addiction? That's
I've heard
second
stories
brain.
of people who have gone on a spiral after ayahuasca too. Like
Oh, shit.
it's not a cure all like kind of thing, and I don't think you should think about it that way.
All right, I'll go do it.
There is a, in fact, one of the guys who did it with me was talking to me. He was ex Special Forces, was talking about becoming a psychedelic integration coach. Like there are people who like I think you need to. One of the things I wish I did was have someone help me interpret it, like all the stuff that I did, and get me to kind of vocalize it more. Because I did it all. I'm more of a thinker than really a talker about these kinds of things. It would have been helpful to, or maybe a therapist or something to kind of talk through that kind of stuff. But I have read stories of people who went down a spiral and they had to pull themselves back out. Like it's, it's no joke.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll consider it. I don't know. Anything else you want to chat about with this?
Talk about anything, man.
I mean, after sobriety, I mean, that's something I can always just relate to. It's something that I've struggled with my entire life, and it's taken me down some crazy paths. Things I never thought I'd talk about that I end up now talking about. But I think that helps transcend shame, right? If I talk to other people about it, at first, I remember saying with my one buddy, I was like, I will never talk about sobriety on this podcast. I do not want to touch it. I just don't want to be that guy. I don't want to do that. And now I feel like I'm doing it more and more.
Mm-hmm.
And now the clips that we put out, like I just released one a couple days ago, and it's kind of blowing up in this way that it's saying something that I thought was going to get pushed back. And people are like, nope, I agree. I agree. And I went, oh, okay, maybe I should just keep doing it. Maybe I should keep bringing this on as a
Most
topic.
of the challenges we think we have, other people have the exact same thing.
And you get a lot more support from the stranger than you do from your friends, right? Which is kind of odd.
Yeah.
It makes you think, makes me think that maybe I should support my friends a little bit more than I think I do. But
Yeah, relationship equity, right? There's a little bit of reciprocity.
Yeah.
And being a good social steward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Love Run's coming up. You know about the Love Run, Philadelphia?
Was that a marathon?
No. I think it might be a full. I don't scroll past 13.1 anymore. You want to do it?
When is it?
March 29th.
If I am in town, I may be in Dublin. I got to take a look. I'm taking the kids to Dublin the week before spring break.
Because you love Ireland?
Yeah, they've never been.
You still listen to Irish music and such?
Of course, man.
I love it.
In fact, I'm emceeing the Sober St. Patrick's Day event in New York City this year.
Oh, I have to ask you about the individual who was in your book. He's the coach of Coastal Carolina now.
Joe Mowgli. Yeah.
Yeah. Parents are good friends. They want me to ask you about him. How you know him?
I used to work for him. So when I fell ass backwards into finance, I was working for TD Ameritrade doing executive communications, and he was the CEO and chairman of TD Ameritrade. I learned a lot from Joe.
They love him.
Joe's phenomenal. Joe is like, in fact, one of our other cousins was working at Coastal Carolina with the football team, Katie, and she never went up and told him. I told him that she was going to go up, but she never went up and said hi. So I gotta yell at her for that.
She was working for him?
He was the coach, and she was one of the trainers on the team or something like that.
So she never saw him?
I think she saw him, but she didn't say that she was related to us, like that kind of thing. I don't think she ever said that. But he's a phenomenal human being.
Doesn't he run the Columbus Day thing over in New York?
He might.
Yeah.
Yeah, he might.
All right, so what do you mean you're emceeing the sober?
There's an event every year called the Sober St. Patrick's Day Party, which is like a family-friendly, celebrating the best of Irish culture without the booze. And it's Irish music and dancing and all that kind of stuff. And I'll be emceeing it this year. So.
All right, sounds good. Yeah. Well, anything else you want to touch on?
No, thank you for having me.
No, thanks for doing this. I I really appreciate it. I do. It's really good to see you, by the way.
Likewise.
It's it doesn't feel like it's been probably 20 years. Are those wolves on your socks?
There were yes, yeah, actually.
That's
There you go.
all the ayahuasca wanted you to do.
It
is
is.
to buy those socks.
Buy these socks.
Before or after ayahuasca?
Very much after.
Okay.
I didn't care about wolves until like now. It's right. I got to get another tattoo of a wolf somewhere.
Do you have tattoos of wolves?
Not of wolves. No.
0 of wolves?
0 of wolves.
Oh, you got socks.
I got
alright.
socks. Yeah, but I
Yeah.
will get one.
Well, I really appreciate you doing this, Jimmy. Tell your family I said hi. Are you going to go see him?
Already did.
Oh, you went there first?
Yeah.
Oh, I was wondering how you got here exactly at 4:30.
Yeah, that's it.
You
I'm
know?
very
Who'd you see, by the way?
punctual.
Because I've only seen Maureen lately. I
Uh,
haven't seen anybody else.
I just went to my parents, and then Christine came up
Nice.
as I was leaving. So
Kevin's around in Langhorne?
Kevin's Langhorne. Yeah.
Yeah, love to see him. Mikey's around, or?
Mikey's in Lansdale.
Oh, okay. Everyone's pretty much around here still?
They're pretty much around here. Yeah, I'm the only one who hightailed it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Jimmy. I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
You got it.